Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Pete. It is 7:18 in the evening. Hopefully, everybody had a nice chance to unwind from today's trading. Some really good opportunities today. A little bit frustrating as far as follow through on the long side. I thought the financials were going to see some nice follow through today. They ended up trading inside or down. That's part of trading. That's what we do. We're going to be making a game plan for Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. We're going to get right into it. We're going to first take a look at a little bit of news. Also, if you have any questions or you want any stocks reviewed in a future video, absolutely click down, click subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll get to it as soon as I can. So we're going to go right into what I think is pretty interesting to start out today. U.S. government holding firm on airline aid plan. Why not? They're bailing everybody else out, right? I guess every small business in the country has a chance to get their share right now. But that's a huge number, 3% of an airline owned by the government. But we're in this world now where too big to fail. I guess everybody's getting decided who's too big to fail. So have your own opinions on that, whether you're a capitalist, whether you own a company right now, whether you're an entrepreneur. I guess that's what we're doing now. Who's next, right? I want to start out today's video before we get into the markets and picking a bias for tomorrow. If you didn't happen to see what Netflix did today, we'll really exaggerate it on the short-term time frame. Looking at the 5-minute charts, just absolutely exploded out of the gate and never looked back. This is the first 5-minute candle here and just tore through every price level. We actually were looking at the 385 resistance level. So you can see, actually, this is how strong it was. It actually finally blew through that level and never looked back. And you can see here on the daily chart why we're looking at that level. This is actually going back to July of 2018 that this has been a resistance level in Netflix. Now, every time it gets up there, it keeps getting smacked. And especially same thing over here prior to the market collapsing. This time it might be different. Look, the bottom line is who's not watching Netflix right now? Everybody is. And earnings season comes up and everything around Netflix as well as Disney, which actually has kind of pulled back a little bit after some good news last week on their subscriber growth. There's reason this stock, they're exploding. Everybody and their grandmother's watching something on Netflix right now. You could binge the entire thing, kill a couple hours, and forget about needing to wear a mask to go get gas, right? So anyway, what's the trade in Netflix? Tomorrow I'm going to be looking for Netflix. Easy scenario. If we trade as an inside day and we can't get out of today's trading range, especially can't get above tomorrow's high, I'm letting the trade go. I'm not going to fight the thing. It should explode. It should go right through tomorrow. It should trade above tomorrow's opening. Best case scenario for Netflix tomorrow, we open flat, maybe a little bit higher, and we kind of float around there for a couple of minutes, and then the buyers come back in. If we trade below the opening price, trade below yesterday's high, can't even get above yesterday's close, if you happen to get long, just kick it out. That's not what's supposed to happen. The last thing we want to see is an inside day tomorrow. We want to see a follow through. We want to see well bid. If we do, make what you're supposed to. Trades like this that follow through like that, those are big levels. You're talking about almost 2 years of resistance. If it stays above that level, stick with it. If you get long and it pulls back, be disciplined and pull the plug. So I'm going to start out with something that I think is really interesting. You guys know that I have my criteria, which is basically I look for volume and liquidity first before I look for anything. So I'm basically looking at an average of 2 million shares traded per day. So for me, that's enough liquidity on a regular basis. Stocks will move and have a chance to have large red and large green candles or have good institutional activity for that particular day. Also, average true range of a minimum of $1.50. So there's volatility, average, profit potential, right? So based on that criteria and the market pulling back today, I think the Dow is down 300 and change. I forgot what the exact number was. How many stocks do you think that meet that criteria? 2 million shares per day, average true range of $1.50. How many of those stocks do you think made 20-day lows today? Out of all of the stocks on Wall Street, how many do you think had 20-day lows today? None. Not even one. So the market hit that resistance level that we talked about over the weekend, where it hit the 50% retracement level, found resistance, pulled back, gapped down today off of the OPEC news, and just kind of went sideways after the first 90 minutes. And we actually had a little bit of a rally in the afternoon. There's something suspect about feeling like we're just going to roll over and go back and see the Dow test that 18,000 level. I'm going to go to the weekly charts right now, but really what I'm trying to get across here is Read the tape. Don't have your opinion. Don't listen to what you hear in the news. The news changes and Twitter changes every 5 minutes, if not faster. Form your own opinions. If you want to do this and do this in a big way, stop being a chart reader and become a tape reader. Become a trader who makes their own decisions and say, well, the market was supposed to go down, but it didn't. I have to pay attention to what it is doing. It did gap down and the net number was big. After that first 90 minutes, we didn't see any additional selling, which is interesting. I'm not saying we're going up tomorrow. It's interesting. It's interesting that we should have sold off harder and didn't. So now we're going to actually start to take a look at some short sales that do make sense for tomorrow, because that was another big discussion today. A lot of stocks that were strong over the last 2 or 3 weeks, specifically last week, and a lot of weekly candlesticks were well bid, where there's we had inside candlesticks that broke out, and then we had higher highs and higher lows. So coming into today, to be long or to be a buyer was the right scenario based on the charts setting up to be long. It was a question of whether that imaginary resistance level would make us roll over today, which it did, but we're still well bid on the weekly candlesticks. The thing to watch out for tomorrow in a lot of stocks, I'll show you on the SPY right now. We'll actually jump right over to the weekly chart of the SPY. And let me go back over there. Is right here. So now we're actually well offered. Now it's actually lower, 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 high, right? So what are we watching for the tone for the week? If you happen to be holding trades Monday through Friday or Monday through next Monday, whatever your swing trading time frame happens to be, if we stay inside and if this weekly candlestick remains red, it's a neutral week. It's a neutral week, but that means that bearish environment for this week is look for short sales in weak stocks. That's the main point that I want to get across. So when you're setting up your trading day, you should first and foremost always be looking at what is the general market doing, and then I'm going to go into the individual stocks to look for new trades in the direction of the general market. Those are the easiest trades. Those are the trades that make most sense. Don't fight the market. If the market's obvious, go find stocks that are doing the same thing as the market. So weak stocks, weak close stocks that meet that criteria that I want to take a look at today. I absolutely like Halliburton on the short side to eventually pull back. And again, it's a $9 stock. You're not necessarily going to trade it and think you're going to make a lot on it. That's not the point. The point is setting up good trades in the direction that you think the market's going to go. We had Boeing today coming out of this multi-day 2 inside candlesticks, where these 2 were inside this larger candlestick. We were actually looking for a much deeper pullback to the 145 level. We didn't get it, but I still like Boeing on the short side tomorrow. To me, it's still a good swing trade. You can look down to this 120 level, which is another $27 down to that level. The other one, looking at Caterpillar, got shellacked today after this bearish U-turn. We're looking for one more day down into the support level, right around 106, 107 on the short side in Caterpillar. Something interesting in the home builder stocks today, and all 3 of them basically did the same thing. They had a gap up and a gap down. Island tops, if you're into classic technical analysis, that usually follows through to the downside. Now, this isn't a perfect island top. Price was actually in there, but pretty darn close to call it there, right? Same thing in here. KB Homes did the same thing, and Lennar. So the point I'm trying to make here is when an entire sector is doing the same thing, usually money is flowing in or flowing out of that. So I'm going to be looking at these stocks as well on the short side, looking for a swing trade for the week down to this next level, and Lennar in this case here down to 32. As far as some other stocks, I want to make sure I cover this one before we get into a couple of other stocks on the long side. mRNA has to do with coronavirus. It's got stuff that I don't want to get into all the details, but it's a coronavirus play. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to get into all of the other stuff. It's a 3-day consolidation where these 3 candlesticks are inside this one, and you can see they're hugging the most recent trend line. I believe tomorrow mRNA must be in my list for a day where I'm expecting a large range day, the same exact thing that we called in Tesla today. We said the consolidation and breaking out, and the way the weekly chart is set up, we're looking for an expansion in volatility and a big day we could possibly hold to the close. So keep mRNA on your list for tomorrow. I'm not going to call direction. I would assume it's higher because of the most recent trend. But remember, these consolidation plays, we're just calling for an expansion in volatility. It's a 1-day strategy, a 1-day play. If it's in the direction of the order flow, you can hold them a little longer. But in this case, I'm looking for an expansion in volatility and a big trend day out of mRNA today. As far as some trades on the long side, Apple Apple finally broke out today. We had this, again, very similar, 2 days inside of one larger reversal candle. It's going to be interesting. It's very similar to what we talked about in Netflix. These tech stocks, they got out past these levels. Can they stay there? I'm looking to be long tomorrow, Apple. It's absolutely got some room to go. I like the long. If it opens higher, I'm going to be bidding for the stock. Maybe you'll join me, maybe you won't, but be disciplined. Again, real trades that break out follow through. So it's the right trade to take this trade to look for follow through, which brings me right into JP Morgan, which I really like the financial stocks today. They hit this resistance level and I was looking for follow through. We did not get the follow through. We actually opened up a little bit higher, and you can see on the 15-minute chart actually pushed up, right here. We opened up here slightly higher and started selling off immediately, and that was it. We never really recovered after that. So that's a part of trading, and if you can't deal with trades not working out perfectly, it's going to be tough for you to have resiliency to make some money in this market. But if you can, this is just a part of trading. I'm owning up to it. I'm manning up to it. This is one of my top stocks for today, coming in today, and we didn't get follow through. That's a part of trading, right? Next, we're going to look at some other stocks that had some really good follow through. We just looked at Tesla, which we're going to take a look at that again tomorrow. Again, 2 inside candlesticks here. Nice breakout, right? One inside candlestick, well bid, and now it hit a resistance level. So I still like a little bit further to the upside in Tesla. This is actually a really solid candlestick, $78 almost today, 13.6%. I like it long again tomorrow. Same exact reason I just talked about in Apple as well as Netflix. I don't see any reason not to be looking long. If it follows through, awesome. If it doesn't, be a big boy and do what you're supposed to do. All right, so we got nice 1, 2, 3 candlesticks here in Peloton. The only thing I don't like about Peloton, and this is where you got to really use your chart reading skills, this actually doesn't have a lot of room to go. 33, 34 has been the level that it's having a hard time getting through. So maybe you got another $1 or $2 at the most. And there's nothing wrong with that, but today it did exactly that. What basically went 28.5 to 32. Could it do it again tomorrow? Yes, but you have to keep a cap on this. We actually had a really good call in the coaching group today about using average true range and how to pick your profit targets. You can use average true range to move where you expect profits to go to. And we actually did that in Netflix just a couple of minutes ago where we said 385 and just blew past those levels. Peloton, actually, it's got 2 things. It's got the average true range at the resistance level plus the resistance level. So if Peloton opens higher tomorrow and you happen to be long already from the last couple of days, congratulations. If you're not, you're looking to initiate a new long, opens higher, pushes higher, just be aware that 33.5, 34 level has been a spot that's been hard to get through, but I do like that tomorrow. Next one is not ABX. It used to be ABX. Now it's actually GOLD. And we actually cleared 20-day highs here today, which is just really nice to see. I am looking for follow-through here again today. This could be a little bit thinner, but I do like the follow-through, and it's a CFD, so be aware of that when you're looking at it. Last but not least, we had Zoom today. Zoom actually caught a few people looking to bid this pullback. I was actually looking to bid here. It just didn't follow through the way we expected it to. But we have an inside candle breakout, inside candle breakout. I am looking for Zoom to trade higher again tomorrow, too. Some of the selling might have been due to technology. Just everybody on the planet seems to be using Zoom right now. Everybody's working from home, right? So anyway, I'm looking for Zoom to follow through on the long side as well tomorrow. So quite a few longs there today. Don't really have a lot of shorts, but you know, it's interesting. You would think that with the market selling off and coming in as hard as it did today from a percentage, that there would be just a ton of stocks lining up on the short side. And you can see here, there really aren't. We basically had some push up, pause, push up, and now we're kind of going into a pause, which is really what I'm expecting. So I had somebody ask this afternoon, what do I think about the SPY specifically heading into tomorrow? And I'm just seeing, I really think we're going to pause. I'm not sure we're going to have a hard pullback unless we get a little bit more news that overnight maybe something happens. But the price action right now is telling us, yes, we gapped lower, but we did not close on the lows. Look where the SPY closed relative to the day. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to say that I have, until I see a stronger reason not to, I'm leaning long in stocks that are strong. The weak side, the short selling, I just don't see a lot lining up where I can be like, man, I really can't wait to have those stocks on the short side. I don't see it. Here's the thing. If it does happen and we do sell off and we start coming in harder, I'm okay with not doing much. If it doesn't make sense, there's no reason to get involved if it's not trading according to your plan. So that's what I'm looking at for tomorrow. Keep an eye on those weekly charts, because the weekly charts are going to tell you whether or not we're going well offered and coming in for the week. And it's better to be looking for the weak stocks as opposed to waiting for stocks to bottom and look for longs. If we get back above the opening price, yesterday's opening price in the SPY, the Dow, the Qs, and some other stocks, we could see another nice push to the upside. So I know that sounds like I'm hedging. I'm not. That's real trading. Real trading is you make scenarios on both sides of the market and you let it unfold. What kind of messed up with the short sale conviction today is the fact that we gapped down and didn't really do much after the first 90 minutes. We didn't see any follow through at all. Even in that Boeing trade that I was looking for some nice follow through, didn't get it. So I'm not hedging. I'm just I'm having good scenarios for both sides. If we trade above and we start to go positive on the week, I'll definitely be a little more aggressive in share size, the amount of positions, and how long I plan to hold them. If we pull back and start to trade a little bit lower, there's not a huge list of stocks that I love on the short side right now, despite the fact that we were down big today. So hope that helped you. A lot of good stocks. Keep an eye on that mRNA. I think that's going to have a really big trend day today, similar to what we saw in Amazon, Netflix, and Tesla today. Not the same sector or anything like that, just a technical setup that's setting up. And Apple as well finally did break out of that level and look for some follow through there tomorrow too. So have a great night, everybody. Click subscribe, leave some questions in the comments. Feel free. I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you'd like to see some stocks reviewed, leave those as well. And I really appreciate you watching the videos. It means the world to me. So be safe. Have a great night. And let's make some money tomorrow. Have an awesome day.